From the original iMac, which lacked a floppy drive, to the iPhone 7, which ditched the headphone jack, Apple's quest for minimalism has often upset its customers. This is not a company that often reverses course, but the new MacBook Pro series is almost an apology to users of the past few generations. The company has undone almost everything that annoyed long-term professional users. But there is one fresh new controversy. So is this finally the Mac that you've been waiting for years, or has Apple just managed to find a new way to alienate professional users? I was able to spend a few weeks with the 2021 14-inch MacBook Pro, and here's my full review. Don't expect the new MacBook Pro to come cheap. The 14-inch 2021 MacBook Pro starts at 1,94,900 rupees in India with an M1 Pro SoC that has 8 active CPU cores and 14 GPU cores. For this price, you get only a 512GB NVMe SSD, and this variant is the only one that ships with the slower 67-watt charger. There are multiple processor configuration options with more CPU and graphics cores. You can even step up to the M1 Max processor with either 24 or 32 GPU cores. The 16GB of RAM can be upgraded to 32 or 64GB, and you can get 1TB, 2TB, 4TB, or even 8TB of SSD capacity, but only at the time of purchase since these are not upgradable. Your new 14-inch MacBook Pro could cost as much as 5,79,900 rupees with all the bells and whistles. Interestingly, the 16-inch model ranges in price from 2,39,900 to 5,89,900 rupees. Both the 14-inch and 16-inch models have Touch ID fingerprint sensors, Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5. Battery capacity is 70 Wh and 100 Wh for the 14-inch and 16-inch models respectively, and Apple promises up to 11 hours and 14 hours of casual use. There's now a 1080p webcam with computational video enhancement. Audio also gets a big upgrade with a 6-speaker system and spatial audio. The first ever 14-inch MacBook Pro isn't physically much larger than the previous 13-inch model thanks to a taller screen with narrower borders. It's available in silver and space grey. The lid can be raised easily and the hinge feels very firm, but one ergonomic issue is the sharp corners of the little lip provided for your thumb. Build quality overall is very good and there's no flex at all to the lid. Many people will appreciate the return of various ports, most notably MagSafe for charging. This is a new, thinner connector that Apple calls MagSafe 3, and neither chargers nor MacBooks themselves are physically compatible with older models. You can still use Type-C ports to charge the new MacBook Pro, but MagSafe will be quicker. You'll now find 3 Thunderbolt ports that support charging, DisplayPort video, and USB 4. An HDMI video output and an SD-XC slot are also present, along with a 3.5mm audio jack. The entire keybed is now black and the touch bar across the top is entirely gone. The arrow keys are a bit cramped, but overall typing is comfortable. The solid-state trackpad has no physical clicking mechanism, but pushing down generates a haptic vibration that feels remarkably lifelike. You can even vary pressure to force click, which shows contextual information or triggers actions. The most controversial feature of the new 2021 MacBook Pro is its display notch. Many laptop manufacturers have tried relocating or even dispensing with webcams altogether to make screen borders as narrow as possible, but Apple is the first to try a notch that cuts into the top of the panel itself. Sadly, this doesn't mean you get the same 3D Face ID security that you get on Apple's notched iPhones. The default macOS wallpaper is strategically dark at the top to help mask the notch, but it's clearly visible and distracting with lighter backgrounds. However, you aren't actually losing any screen space. The panel has been extended upwards to fill the area around the webcam, making it taller than the previous 16:9 aspect ratio. The notch doesn't encroach on any space that was there before. The screen effectively continues behind the notch, and your trackpad cursor will pass through it rather than acting as though there's an edge. In full screen mode, the areas to the sides of the notch remain black, leaving a rectangle. Most programs will show their menus on the left, leaving the system status icons on the right. Some heavy programs with very dense menus might spill over. I noticed some odd cursor behavior in Premiere Pro, jumping from one side of the notch to the other. Most video these days is widescreen and will play letterbox anyway when full screen, so you don't have to worry about the notch covering anything. Vertical and even 4:3 aspect ratio video plays within the 16:10 space, so you're effectively letterboxed on 3 sides with no visible notch. Aside from this, the panel that Apple has used is excellent. It has a higher resolution than before and uses mini LED backlighting. Brightness can go up to 1600 nits with HDR content. There's a 120Hz maximum refresh rate, though not all software can take advantage of this yet. Colors are vibrant without being oversaturated, motion is exceptionally smooth, and even tiny text is rendered crisply. Videos look great, especially 4K HDR content. Overall, the larger screen is welcome in this segment and is a pleasure to work on. This is our first experience with the M1 Pro SoC, which promises even more power than the M1, which we saw in the 13-inch MacBook Pro refresh recently. You get more CPU and GPU cores, and even though the RAM is still integrated, the maximum amount you can get is now higher. The M1 family SoCs all have a 16-core neural engine for AI and machine learning acceleration, but the M1 Pro and M1 Max also have dedicated hardware for video encoding and decoding. In everyday use, the new 2021 MacBook Pro is certainly impressive. Everything from launching apps to multitasking is extremely snappy. The laptop wakes quickly from sleep when its lid is raised, but the fingerprint sensor wasn't as quick as what I'm used to with smartphones. This laptop is overpowered if all you need it for is entertainment, basic productivity, or web surfing. In everyday use, it runs completely silent. Premiere Pro ran flawlessly even with a heavy video project loaded up, and I was able to apply effects and render video quickly. The only test that really seemed to challenge the M1 Pro processor was Blender. I noticed the middle of the keyboard getting quite toasty and parts of the metal frame becoming hot after just 15 minutes of continuous rendering, but the fan remained whisper quiet. Interestingly, there isn't much throttling, if any, when running on battery power, although the battery level does drop quite quickly when running heavy workloads. I tried running Shadow of the Tomb Raider, a relatively demanding game. At 1900 by 1200 using the high quality preset, the built-in benchmark showed a surprisingly consistent frame rate even on battery power. The speakers on the new MacBook Pro are impressive. Music sounded rich and full with reasonably good bass, and voices in video were crisp. The maximum volume could have been a bit better, but this is still great for a laptop. The 1080p webcam is quite good as well, but needs adequate light to work. Coming to battery life, the new 14-inch MacBook Pro was able to get through a full workday without being plugged in and still had over 20% left at the end. The 96-watt MagSafe charger was able to take my review unit from an empty battery to 52% in 30 minutes and to 86% in an hour. It took slightly over an hour and a half to charge fully. USB Type-C fast charging is supported on the 14-inch model. Apple has embraced change with the new MacBook Pro lineup, even at the cost of admitting it was wrong. I was expecting the notch to be a big problem, but I found it easy enough to live with after a while. It's still distracting, but it isn't a deal breaker. The M1 Pro and M1 Max processors deserve a lot of praise. The screen is fantastic, the speakers are great, and the return of useful ports will make a lot of people happy. The new MacBook Pro will likely appeal to plenty of users looking for an upgrade, but even the entry-level variant is priced quite high, and the costs of adding RAM and storage, which you can't upgrade later, are completely ludicrous. If you don't have any budget constraints and simply want the best Mac laptop there is right now, look no further. However, creative professionals do now have plenty of options on the Windows side of the fence, including several with touchscreens and those that support the use of a stylus. That was my review of the new 2021 MacBook Pro 14-inch. Thanks for watching. Do let us know what you think of it in the comment section. And as always, for much more detail, visit us at gadgets360.com.